Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And in this edition, we'll have a juicy Where I Went Wrong UFC Vegas 60 or UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Saul. So I'm not gonna do this in any particular order. Maybe I'll do it in actual order, but I'm just doing this off the top of my head if I can remember it all. And that's literally me just being straight up honest right now. But so I went 7-6, 7 of 13. And this card just really went left in a lot of ways. And yeah, let's just start. So 7-6. 7-6, 7 of 13, 7-6, 7 of 13. And for the people saying, oh, when you get a haircut, you look like a wildebeest and whatnot. Haircut coming tomorrow, if y'all care or not. But for me, I'm gonna do that for myself. Get myself a haircut tomorrow, nice haircut tomorrow, and that's a promise to myself, haircut tomorrow. But so I can stop looking like a wildebeest. It has gone on too long. But yeah, first fight was Nicholas Moda versus what's his name? Cameron Van Camp. And Cameron Van Camp. With this one, I actually had Nicholas Moda early. You saw the video was revised, but I switched it to Van Camp because I was trying to say, like, I made that pick way back when. And I saw them fight. I made my adjustments. So it was a combination of, like, I saw them fight. I like what I saw from Van Camp more in their fights in UFC. In fact, he was 4 inches taller, had the reach and whatnot. I did not like that he kept his chin up and whatnot, and that clearly was a bigger factor. But yeah, I was looking for a dog, and I saw he at least showed me more than Nicholas Moda showed me. But I guess Van Camp issue of holding his chin up is just a bigger issue. It's just a bigger issue, and Moda was able to find his chin without much issue, and every time he landed, he got a reaction, and it was like pretty short fight. But yeah, it was just a case of me really trying to find a dog out there and not just look at what's already out there. So the mistake in that one was, the lesson learned there is, let me see, what's the true lesson there? Or stylistically, what was the reasoning behind it? Not to say that Moda's such a great fighter yet or anything. He can go on and be great. Right now, he's far from great. But the thing that allowed him to do that, like, his striking selection is pretty short. He is pretty good at chambering those hooks and, being able to throw them in combination, then maybe hold it a little bit and get into position, then land, then unleash it, like, chambering those hooks. And you got a guy that already not moving his head too much. And you could chamber, get in inside, then unleash it, cracking with it, or, throw a combination, freeze with it, popping with it. The guy's chin is right there, it's not moving. And didn't fix that head movement issue at all, didn't address it. Came in pretty much the same guy he was last fight, no real adjustments. Moda didn't really make no adjustments either, but just was able to find a guy that's not moving his head and cracking with the big power. And as far as speed-wise, Moda was faster, he had the power, and he had the better chin. Now these guys have super stellar chin, but Moda does have pretty decent power, and he does, like I said, have better defense between the two. So yeah, the thing right there was, if a guy not gonna fix his head movement, and you in a fight with, that could easily be a firefight, lean to the guy that has the actual defense. And that's how they're gonna throw in combinations and has the power. And I knew that he could take if they got into a firefight, who could dish it and take it better, it would be Moda, and Moda dished it and he took it better. And he dished it out better. And Van Camp was not moving that head at all. So just a mistake in trying to find a dog or force a dog in that situation. And let me see, next one. Yeah, next one we going juicy. We going Trey Ogden versus Zellhuber. My mistake, you can go do this fight 100 times over, but I erase my memory and play it out over, or play out a similar scenario, a nice young prospect going in there with a relatively mediocre veteran. I'm gonna pick the young prospect every time, but the mistake I made in this one is a mistake I probably made months ago, and then I made adjustment on it. But in this, we got to feel ballsy, so I went lock with a young unproven prospect, and it bit again. I got bit in the butt again. So this is my second L. Like I said, I'm not going in no particular order. I'm just listing them out as I go. And yeah, with Zellhuber, like I said, I will pick that 100 times out of 10. 100 times out of 100, I will pick him. I'm just being flat out honest. I'll be wrong every single time, but I'll be confident in picking him. But confident in betting him or confident in putting lock on him, that's gonna be different. It might be average or low, but I get that L every single time because Trey Ogden really didn't show me that. Really in that fight, who lost that fight? Did Trey Ogden win that fight? Yes, he did. But did he win that fight for real? No. Zellhuber lost that fight. That's the reality of the fight. Zellhuber, whatever reason, was gun shy out there. He lands ahead and go. Yes, Trey Ogden was throwing out that mediocre check hook and spamming leg kicks and spamming body kicks, but he really wasn't doing nothing that like warranted all the respect that Zellhuber gave. Another thing I noticed from Zellhuber, he is a pretty much slow starter, and that's something to note going forward. He's a slow starter, but I don't think he's gonna be that gunshot going forward. He's gonna let it go more and give it like 2 more fights. They rematch. He destroying Ogden. I believe it. He destroying Ogden. Ogden ain't getting no better. 2 fights down the line, he destroying Ogden and retiring that man in the cage if they fight again. But that ain't likely gonna happen. I mean, one case, one of the LG not gonna get back. That guy can't stick around the UFC. You gonna stick around the UFC, probably blossom. I ain't saying no future champion or nothing, but blossom enough to stick around the UFC and, you know, evolve and grow. Ogden gonna be stuck in his level, and that's just gonna be it. It's gonna be one of those L, like, why? How'd you? This guy got like 25-1. Who he lose to? Trey Ogden. How you lose to Trey Ogden? You want to take back like rookie mistakes out there. But yeah, with this one, I'm just gonna flat out say it. My mistake was putting way too much confidence in 23-year-old unproven prospect. That was my mistake. As far as anything Ogden did, it's not nothing he did. It's the mistakes. It's in me picking a dog. I mean, not picking a dog, but picking a young prospect with so much confidence, an unproven prospect. That's my mistake. Anything else like that, I would take the L. And, you know, props to Trey Ogden for winning the fight, putting a game plan together. Mediocre game plan, mediocre fighter, mediocre fight. But Trey Ogden stayed to his game plan, and Zellhuber made no adjustments. So congrats on that. You got a W, you got your win bonus. But in reality, my mistake here is just putting too much confidence in an unproven prospect. So that's that one. Then let's see. Let's jump to Sabatini versus Damon Jackson. With this one, I put a lot of confidence in not Damon Jackson, but Sabatini, because of, you know, his previous fights. And you know, the hype people had for Sabatini. So I had hype in Sabatini and stuff because of other people's hype. And it was some people in my comment section, at least one particular person who was like, they knew Sabatini and stuff, or used to know Sabatini, and they had a lot of hype behind Sabatini. And people kept cashing on Sabatini, so I was like, let me get on the hype train. And it stylistically looked like a pretty good matchup. Like, he did have the better wrestling credentials versus a guy, you know, 2 high-level grapplers, but one guy has the better better wrestling credentials, so he can get it to the mat or control when he gets to the mat more, and, you know, control the positioning, or at least the initial positioning. I thought he would be able to take Damon Jackson down, but obviously the fight didn't really get to play out at all. He got front kicked in the face in like a minute, and he got swarmed on, and then friendly quitted, or he just tapped out verbally, and still allowed those people, like, he was so generous, he allowed those people, those bettors who wanted to cash in Damon Jackson first round submission to still get their first round submission. So he tapped verbally, so Damon Jackson still got that submission, basically, like, technically, and the people bet it feeling like geniuses because it's still a tap out. So they're like, hey, they feeling like they probably the smartest people in the world, you know, it ain't happening like the way they expect to happen, but they're gonna act like they did. I knew he was gonna verbally tap, like pulling a Henry Cejudo. Already made the prediction, but after the fight happened, he tried to make a live prediction that's still not even a correct live prediction. He'll make a broad statement, and he said, I predicted that would happen, even though you predicted clearly on your channel that this person will win, and they lose, and you still try to make a prediction like, oh, he gonna get caught with this, or he need to do this, and then get caught. I don't know. We're pulling Cejudos out here. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's my mistake there. So I got the Van Camp, the Zellhuber, the Sabatini. Oh, but let's go 4th one, Bozer versus what's the dude name? Yeah, Bozer versus Rodrigo Nascimento, or Rodrigo. I don't got no Brazilian accent, so I can't pull it off like how they say it. But I'm just gonna call him Rodrigo Nascimento. But in this one, I think the biggest mistake I made with this one, again, too much confidence. It wasn't locked like the Sabatini and Zellhuber fights, which makes me, you know, look really, really bad putting locks on those. But high confidence, matter of fact, high confidence isn't too bad with this one. I'm okay taking the burn from a high confidence of Bozer over Nascimento. Nascimento looked horrendous in his last fight. Hadn't fought in a while. But the biggest thing for him, I felt in this one, is Bozer does have a bit of I'm gonna say at this point, he has a clear weakness to grapplers. He does have a clear weakness to grapplers, and it doesn't help. Like, it definitely helps a lot for Nascimento when the guy's 40 pounds lighter than you. And it's not like he's so fast. I mean, he was clearly faster, but he's not. Ain't that big advantage like for him to be giving all that weight. He think he the Flash, but he far from it. Like I said, he clearly faster than Nascimento, clearly a better striker than Nascimento, but it ain't worth giving him 40 pounds for the speed advantage he has. And so he kind of in a dilemma where, like, are you gonna go up or are you gonna go down? Because you definitely ain't gonna go too far here. Matter of fact, you probably go further in the heavyweight division than you do in the light heavyweight division, because light heavyweight division you'll drop down and now you're gonna lose your technical edge. There probably gonna still be guys that's gonna wrestle you. Heavyweight, you can at least fight a lot of guys that really ain't got no wrestling at all, because the heavyweight division right now still very much low grappler base, so you got a grappling base, you can go pretty far in the division, because a lot of guys think it's returning now, but it still ain't there. So he can definitely thrive more in the heavyweight division. But giving up 40 pounds, you're gonna be like a guaranteed L almost to grapplers are hoping for, a combination, or you land that perfect shot, or set up that perfect shot, or they get tired for you to win. Unless they like some 40-year-old former light heavyweight in OSP or something. But yeah, Nascimento, I'm not too impressed with his win. But like I said, the division's still very much open to grapplers. And if he can go use the grappling more, he could definitely thrive more in this division. As far as striking wise, there's some mediocre strikers out in that division, so he can knock some of them out. But I feel like grappling should be where he should put most of his focus at, or at least mixing it in heavy, and then which will open up the hands, or will bring the hands down of his opponent, then let his hands go. But there's openness for both of them guys, but ultimately I'm not impressed with either. But yeah, the big overlook in this one was the weight difference. And obviously you don't know that till like exactly what they're gonna come in into the weigh-ins, so I make my predictions before the weigh-ins, but I'm not making no adjustments as far as predictions. I'm gonna predict it before that and just let it ride out. Hopefully they can make adjustments and deal with any weight disadvantage they have. But from a betting perspective, bets could definitely be hold off until after, weigh-ins and stuff. But as far as, yeah, I have a feeling the fight could end up doing that way. But I guess the thing is now, Boulder is solid enough on the ground as far as BJJ that he go in there with a grappler wrestler, he won't get stopped on the ground necessarily unless the cream of the crop grapplers and strikers and fighters. So if you're going in with a grappler, probably like future bet is like decision if he's going to get grappled up, or he losing the grappler and maybe just go either split it up and pick him, and I don't know. I'm getting too much off topic, but either way, in the future, definitely looking to fade him against grapplers. This gonna be it now. That's what this fight confirms to me. Fade Bozer against grapplers. Better strikers, better oral fighters, and grapplers. He has a weakness to grapplers, so that's gonna be a clear set in stone thing. Unless a guy like 215 and unmiraculous are completely without anything good to say about him. Maybe those type of people like, oh, this guy a grappler, he suck. He couldn't even take down a grandma, that man. I don't know who gave him his grappling credentials. Maybe something like that, but anybody worth anything in the grappling department, got some decent size on them, going to have to pick them against some fade Bozer in the future. But that is what it is. So like that's the 4th L. 5th L, I'm jumping ahead now to the co-main event. We had who we had? We had RoboCop. Forgetting his name right now too, but let me pause for a second. Chidi Njokuani versus Gregory Rodriguez, and how I feel about this. Well, like this is my 5th L, 6th L, but let's go. I'm just like saying, it's one I'm missing right now. I'm gonna have to recollect that. But the 5th one, as far as this video is going, Gregory Rodriguez versus Chidi Njokuani. This one is flat out. The fight is what the fight was, and at some points, like first round, it looked like the prediction I made was solid enough. It split him up, gave him the 3rd eyebrow and whatnot, and was butchering him in the clinch. But the smarter prediction would have been, and I think Rodriguez ended up being a dog to start the card or start the fight, or by the time the fight was starting. But as far as Gregory Rodriguez goes, and Chidi Njokuani, I'd already watched Chidi Njokuani in Bellator. I ain't saying I've been following his whole career, but I watched pretty much his whole Bellator career live, not like retaped, but like literally watched it live. That dude man had some questionable grappling, and it has slightly seen improvements, seen his confidence increase in the UFC skills and increase in the UFC, but it still is there. But maybe Gregory Rodriguez did have to, make the fight ugly early so that he could get the grappling there, because he wasn't having the most success getting the fight to the ground, as far as not with his punches early, but, basically getting into the war with Chidi Njokuani. It did make the grappling situation open up easier. So in case he could have just took him down at the beginning like that and just mauled him, it was established effort. Like he had to set that up. He had to get to that point through the striking, and then eventually that opened up more. But I think the thing is, like, once he got on the ground, you saw how quickly he could put him away. Like the grappling is just on a different level, different whole playing field. So it should have been smarter with, like, you got just Gregory Rodriguez can strike with him, and he could I'll probably say Chidi Njokuani is the better striker, but watching the fight, he said, who really is the better striker? It was very close. Matter of fact, Gregory Rodriguez had all the drops. So, but either way, looking before the fight, Rodriguez could definitely strike with Chidi Njokuani, but Chidi Njokuani could not grapple with Gregory Rodriguez. And although it wasn't like just straight up grappling, he took him down and beat him with elbows and punches and stuff. But still, like, on the ground, it's just a different level. And the smarter pick would have been Gregory Rodriguez. Like, he could strike with him and grab the part, but it's not even close, not even competition. So in that sense, it should have been that. And like I said, my prediction kind of was on the thing that Gregory Rodriguez kind of strikes too much and is willing to strike too much. But he did it. Got took some damage from it, but showed the heart of a warrior, showed the toughness, battled through it, and then eventually got to the second part of his game plan, dragged to the mat, and made quick work of Shidi Njokuani in the second round. So props to him, but I say smart money should have been on Rodriguez, and that was the case of me reaching. And now I realized the last pick I had, I just remembered it. We had Andre Fili versus Bill Algeo, and this one was a momentum pick. I said in the video a momentum pick, but momentum clearly was not enough this time around. Algeo fought valiantly, but Andre Fili made some good reads, and ultimately, without the momentum, like what's it called? Not Chidiko, not Algeo, but Philly not having won in a long time, and we're riding like a 2-fight losing streak, coming off a knockout loss. Without that momentum being there, I probably would lean to Andre Fili. Like, momentum aside, would lean to Andre Fili because he was the one that had more dimensions. I ain't saying he's the greatest wrestler ever or anything or like that, or the most stellar wrestler out there, but if anyone was gonna have great success mixing into wrestling, or at least having the most successful wrestling, it would have been Andre Fili, which he did. He had the most grappling success. He was able to mix that in. And I would have said it, like, momentum excluded, I would have said it would have been a very close fight, but Andre Fili would have separated it with his grappling if needed. And he did just that. He separated the fight in a very close fight with his wrestling. Even though I don't feel like he really needed the wrestling, I feel like he won the fight clear. The grappling definitely sealed it because the fight was a split decision. And he did have that grappling success, especially in the third round. Took his back and whatnot. And that was, like I said, that was a deciding factor in the fight that the judges clearly saw was closer than I saw it was and a lot of other people saw it was. But still close enough fight. Don't think it was split decision worthy, especially with the takedown. Should have been unanimous. Without the takedown, should have been unanimous. But that takedown definitely helped. Like, as you can see, the fight was a split decision, and that helped the other two judges push the fight over to Andre Fili. But yeah, I feel like Andre Fili and his team made good reads out there. They saw that Algeo's hands are always low, was throwing that head kick up there. Like, it was landing a lot real clean when they started. From the moment they started standing in the first round to like really the end of that first round. It wasn't really there as much in the later rounds, but still took charge early in the first round to set a tone early in the first round off that. But nonetheless, good reads by Andre Fili, and good on Andre Fili to not let the momentum get to him. He went out there and full like he was riding a 2-fight winning streak. He didn't go out there looking like a guy that was on a 2-fight losing streak coming off a knockout loss. But who knows? But Fili is used to disappointment, so he was right back home. I had disappointments, and what I do every single time I get back on the horse, I'm still young enough. I was the younger guy out there. He was 32 versus a 33-year-old. And yeah, he did what he had to do. Like I said, he been there, done that, and like been there before, got back on his horse, back there again, got back on his horse and won. Like, no longer that paddock on trend, but the man 32, so. But anyway, let me not get too much on that. And just props to Andre Fili for pulling that win off and get back on the win streak. And it's not like, Bill Algeo just subscribed. Bill Algeo was a pretty solid fighter, so that's a good win right there. Good performance, good win, and showed a well-rounded skill set and a good, calm, centered mind, and not like sloppy or caught in emotions or letting yourself get unprofessional or off track. Stayed on point. But yeah, on to the main event. Always got to document the main event. Got this one right. Well, not perfect though. I got had Corey Sandhagen to win. I think decision, but he got away with a cut. I mean, he didn't get away with a cut, but he won via cut. But I think he was shifting the momentum by that point. Like, early on was Song, but then like the later two kind of were Sandhagen, and definitely with the cut and momentum. Without a stoppage right there or not, he probably would have won the third round and won like 3-2 or 4-1 on some cards. But he clearly shifted the fight, and I think my analysis was valid because whether it was broad or not, it was a case of that veteran experience, been in these 5-round fights. He knew to make those adjustments. He knew to make that switch. Like, say, you start getting to that third and fourth, fifth round, that shift to the final rounds. He made that shift. He made that adjustment. He hit that switch. I mean, he probably would want to have 1-1 in the first 2 rounds, clearly. And then in that third round, you start making that shift, or that fourth round, you make that shift. But nonetheless, he made that shift when, in the crucial times, and he landed crucial shots or a crucial elbow that ended the fight later on. So, and he landed continued elbows to that same point as well. So, like, veteran experience, 5-round experience, and he made that adjustment. Good on Song, he looked good. in the way he wanted to, but it showed that he definitely can hang with the best of the division. So good on Song, but good on Sandhagen for being there before, being in a similar position, losing these big fights in 5-rounders, and then making adjustments in the big crucial rounds. Or at the important time, it is the fight starts to shift to the big rounds, turning it up, and that's what he did, and he capitalized and he won. So good on him for that. And yeah, that's the video. So went 7-6, 7-13, 7-6, 7-13. But one thing I also would say, from a betting perspective, even though like really none of you guys are really in the betting chat really, as far as the full betting chat. Good number of you are in the betting thing. I mean, in my betting Discord and whatnot. But most of you are not. But just some little information. Just because like I finished the video a little bit quicker than usual and hit the 30-minute mark. I'm not going to the 30-minute mark. But what I would say is the lesson I can learn from this one is be confident in my research. Be confident in what I've seen. Because the fights I was confident in, I shouldn't have been as confident in. But the fights I should have been confident in, I wasn't confident in. And focusing my confidence right and slimming down parlays, slimming down bets, not having these 6 long bets and dumb stuff like that, and feeling overconfident in areas I shouldn't have been overconfident in, would have done me a lot of greater service, to be honest. So, but I will say, like, fights I should have been more confident in was the Robertson fight. We have clearly seen Agapova, she got submitted like twice. Matter of fact, all 3 of her losses had come in grappling department. Jalen Robertson, none of her losses have come to a pure striker, or a fighter that's heavily a striker, has come to more so either better grapplers or fighters that are good anti-grapplers and have never come to a fighter that's mainly an offensive striker. And should have been confident Jillian Robinson more in that matchup. Obviously, it's a tough matchup, but stylistically wise and historically wise, it was favoring Robertson. And actually have seen plenty of Robertson fights. I've seen her since she was like 20s, 21. I've seen plenty of her fights, seen her lose, seen her win, and seen who she beats and see who she loses to. Should have more confidence in that. And the fight played out just as you could expect it to, given the historics. Looking at Hernandez versus Baralt fight, especially looking at the last Hernandez fight, it was a clear indicator of what was going to happen in this fight. As a matter of fact, looking at both of their last fights, it was a clear indicator, but I didn't put as much confidence in them, even though the fights literally played out just as historically they were expected to play out. And those were fights like that you have seen plenty of tape. Not these guys like, what's his name? Sabatini. Like Sabatini, he has had fights in UFC, but he has not had nearly as many fights as like Hernandez. We have not seen him the same amount of years we've seen Hernandez. We have not seen him, some people say, I watched LFA, so not LFA, that's Hernandez as well, but some people like, I've been watching the guy since he was a baby. But as far as me and a lot of other people, we haven't had as much time to watch him as we have watched Hernandez, or we have watched Robertson and Agapova to an extent. But those fights I should have more confidence. Those fights played out pretty much how to be expected. And literally every single fight where the historics were clearly there, they played out to be expected. And in general, I got put more confidence in the historics, and it's not really a great thing to reach. I feel like the accuracy on reach picks are so low, but the accuracy on picks where the research is there, it's just almost damn near perfect. So which is pretty much the obvious to expect, but sometimes the obvious don't be obvious when you be trying to predict. Sometimes you could get a little bit caught up in the magic, I guess. The filling out and forcing specific scenarios that aren't really there. Like I said, every now and then it will happen, but most of the times it won't. But yeah, Robertson, the historics were there. Hernandez, the historics were there. I'm pretty sure there was another fight on there, but those were 2 that really stood out to me for the most part. So yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the Discord. I don't know if I'm gonna drop the link below, but if you just ask, I'll drop it for sure. If I remember, I'll drop it. But if you ask, I'll definitely drop it or send it to you. And follow me on Twitter, IG. My Twitter, I think, is literally just type in King of Crackdown 5095 or King of Crackdown. I'll pop up on them. I don't really remember right now, and I ain't gonna pull it up right now. But King of Crackdown will pull me up on Twitter, pull me up on IG, pull me up on TikTok, even though I ain't posting no TikToks yet. But I'll be on there in 2025 probably, knowing how long I'll be taking to get to things. But anywho, that's the video. Again, peace.